When I first bought my piece of land, I felt a wave of relief wash over me. It wasn't just property. It was the result of years of hard work, long hours, and countless sacrifices. The land sat at the edge of a quiet suburban neighborhood, where most residents were friendly. But it didn't take long for me to encounter a problem in the form of one person, the infamous HOA Karen. From the beginning, she had a reputation. Neighbors whispered about her endless complaints, her obsession with rules, and her belief that the entire neighborhood should bend to her will. I tried to keep my distance, but when I visited my property one afternoon, I immediately saw something that shocked me. Bright red, private property, no trespassing. Signs hammered into trees and fences across my land. Confused, I walked deeper, only to find ropes strung across certain areas as if she was claiming the space for herself. The signs had her signature style, large letters, laminated paper, and even her initials written at the bottom. My stomach dropped. This was my land. I had the deed, the paperwork, and everything legally documented. I decided to confront her politely. Knocking on her door, I asked why she had posted signs on my property. With a smug smile, she said, "That land isn't yours. It belongs to the association. I've lived here long enough to know where the boundaries are." Her words infuriated me, but I stayed calm. "Actually, I have the deed," I explained. She crossed her arms, dismissing me completely. "Paperwork can say anything. I know what's real. That's association property now." I walked away, realizing I was up against someone who wouldn't listen to reason, but I also knew I couldn't let this go. If I ignored it, she would eventually try to take more. The thought of someone trying to steal land I worked so hard to buy fueled my determination. I called the HOA board, but they simply said, "It's between you and her. If you believe she's wrong, prove it." That was the final push I needed. I contacted a professional land surveyor. If she wanted proof, I was going to bring undeniable evidence. Little did I know, what the surveyor uncovered would not only prove me right, but also expose her schemes to the entire neighborhood. The morning the surveyor arrived, I felt both nervous and relieved. His name was Mr. Anderson, a quiet, detail-oriented man who had been surveying land for decades. He carried specialized equipment, tripods, laser scanners, and rolled-up maps that looked more official than anything I had ever seen. I explained the situation, pointing to the signs Karen had posted. He raised his eyebrows, almost amused. "Don't worry," he said. "Boundaries don't lie. If you own this land, we'll prove it." He spent hours measuring, marking, and recording every inch of the property. I watched as he carefully placed flags along the correct boundary lines. Each new marker landed exactly where my deed had described. The more markers he placed, the clearer it became. Karen's signs were well inside my property line. At one point, Karen stormed out of her house, arms flailing. "What do you think you're doing?" she shouted, marching toward us. "Mr. Anderson," unbothered, replied calmly, "I'm surveying this land. The owner hired me to confirm the property lines." Her face turned red. "This is HOA land. You're trespassing," she barked. He didn't flinch. "Ma'am, according to the county records and these instruments, this land belongs to him." Karen's voice cracked as she tried to argue. "You're wrong. I've lived here for years. I know where the association property begins." Mr. Anderson simply handed her a copy of the preliminary map. "I deal in facts, not assumptions. The county will recognize this survey." Seeing her speechless was satisfying, but I knew this battle wasn't over. She stormed back to her house, slamming the door so hard the windows rattled. When the surveyor finished, he handed me the official paperwork and maps. "This will hold up anywhere. County offices, court, even against the HOA, he assured me. "Your boundaries are clear." Holding that packet felt like holding a shield. For the first time, I had solid, undeniable proof. Yet, part of me dreaded the storm Karen would bring when she realized her lies were about to collapse in front of the entire neighborhood. And I was right. The following week, word spread quickly. Neighbors saw the survey flags, and rumors about Karen's behavior traveled faster than ever. Some even approached me privately, confessing that Karen had tried similar tactics before, claiming HOA control over land that wasn't theirs. One evening, the HOA scheduled a community meeting. Karen showed up early, arms full of folders and papers. She clearly intended to present her case. I sat quietly, waiting my turn. When it was her chance to speak, she dramatically placed her papers on the table. "This land belongs to the association," she declared. "He's trying to claim property that isn't his. These signs were necessary to protect what's ours." She waved around old neighborhood maps, some so faded they barely showed anything. Her argument hinged on vague lines and verbal claims passed down by previous board members. It was weak, but her confidence was loud. Then it was my turn. I calmly placed the official survey documents on the table. "This is the county-recognized boundary report," I explained, "conducted by a licensed professional. As you can see, the signs she posted fall well inside my property." The room went silent. Karen's face drained of color. She tried to object, but Mr. Anderson had attended the meeting as well. He stood up, pointing to the survey maps. "This is indisputable. Any court, any county office will confirm these findings." A neighbor raised their hand. "So, Karen, you posted private property signs on someone else's land?" "That's illegal, isn't it?" Karen stammered, trying to backpedal. I was just protecting the neighborhood. Anyone could have made that mistake." But no one seemed convinced. Whispers filled the room. For the first time, her power over the neighborhood began to crumble. The HOA president finally spoke. "Until further notice, Karen is forbidden from posting signs or making claims on any property that isn't hers. This meeting is adjourned." Karen stormed out, muttering under her breath. I knew she wasn't done fighting, but the tide had clearly turned. In the days that followed, neighbors grew more supportive. Many congratulated me, saying they were glad someone had finally stood up to her. But the biggest twist came when the county officials reviewed the survey themselves. They confirmed everything, and then uncovered something shocking. Karen had previously filed complaints with the county, claiming parts of other properties as HOA land. She had tried this tactic before, and this time her lies caught up with her. The county issued a warning. Any further false claims could result in fines or legal action. The HOA board, embarrassed by her behavior, voted to remove her from any leadership role. When I returned to my property a week later, the signs were gone. The ropes had been taken down. My land was mine again, free of her interference. Standing there, I felt a deep sense of relief. I hadn't just defended my property, I had exposed her manipulation to everyone. She thrived on intimidation and fear. But once the truth was revealed, her power evaporated. I built a small fence around the property, not because I feared more trouble, but as a reminder that my boundaries mattered. Every time I saw that fence, I remembered the fight I had won not just for my land, but for my peace of mind. And as for Karen, she became a cautionary tale. Neighbors kept their distance, and her influence over the community vanished. She still lived there, but without control, without authority, and without the ability to bully others. In the end, the surveyor's work hadn't just proven my case, it had uncovered the truth about Karen's lies, and the truth was the one thing she could never silence.